Donald Trump just threatened to sue Trevor Noah. Not for a news report, and now for an investigation. A joke, a 30-second bit at the Grammys. About Jeffrey Epstein's island. And here's what nobody's telling you. This isn't about protecting Trump's reputation. This is about weaponizing defamation law to silence speech. And from a prosecutor's perspective, Trump just walked into a legal minefield that could expose far more than he intended. Pay attention to what happens next. Sunday night, the Grammy Awards. Trevor Noah is hosting for the fifth and final time. Billie Eilish wins Song of the Year for Wildflower. Noah makes a joke. That is a Grammy that every artist wants almost as much as Trump wants Greenland. Which makes sense because Epstein's island is gone. He needs a new one to hang out with Bill Clinton. The audience laughs. Noah adds, "I told you it's my last year. What are you going to do about it?" By the next morning, Trump posts on Truth Social, not a quick dismissal, a 300-word threat. Let me read you the key parts. Noah said incorrectly about me that Donald Trump and Bill Clinton spent time on Epstein Island. Wrong. I can't speak for Bill, but I have never been to Epstein Island, nor anywhere close, and until tonight's false and defamatory statement have never been accused of being there, not even by the fake news media. Then comes the threat. Noah, a total loser, better get his facts straight and get them straight fast. It looks like I'll be sending my lawyers to sue this poor, pathetic, talentless dope of an MC and suing him for plenty. Ask little George Stephanopoulos and others how that all worked out. Also, ask CBS. Get ready, Noah. I'm going to have some fun with you. Now, Trump's referencing his recent wins. ABC News paid him a settlement after George Stephanopoulos said Trump was liable for rape, when the legal finding was actually sexual abuse. CBS paid a settlement over a 60 minutes interview edit. So Trump's feeling invincible. But here's where the case gets dangerous for him. Think about this for a second. What Noah said wasn't a news report making a factual assertion. It was a joke at an awards show by a comedian in front of millions of witnesses who understood it as satire. And satire about public figures has different legal protections than news reporting. But there's something else. Something Trump's lawyers should have caught before he hit send. Just 3 days before the Grammys, Trump's own Justice Department released over 3 million pages of Epstein files. The Deputy Attorney General stood at a podium and told America, these files represent full compliance with the Epstein files. Transparency Act. And what's in those files? Trump's name appears more than 3,000 times. Let that sink in. The files include emails where Epstein and his associates shared news articles about Trump. They include photographs of Trump at Epstein's properties. They include an email from federal prosecutors stating Donald Trump traveled on Epstein's private jet many more times than previously has been reported or that we were aware. They include testimony from one of Epstein's victims who said Ghislaine Maxwell made it clear she was available for Trump and his friends. The file noted nothing happened, but Maxwell's statement suggested the arrangement. They include testimony from Trump's own Mar-a-Lago butler saying Trump and Epstein socialized frequently. Now, Trump has repeatedly denied wrongdoing. He's never been charged with any crime related to Epstein. Neither has Bill Clinton. Both men deny any knowledge of Epstein's criminal activities. But here's the prosecutorial question. If you're about to sue someone for defamation because they made a joke connecting you to Epstein's island, do you really? Because that's exactly what a lawsuit would do. Noah made a joke. Trump's response? I'll be sending my lawyers. But before we get to why this lawsuit is legally doomed, we need to understand what Trump's actually trying to do here. And it's not about winning in court. Here's what they're not telling you about Trump's litigation strategy. Trump doesn't file lawsuits to win trials. He files them to create a chilling effect. From a prosecutor's perspective, look at the pattern. Trump has filed dozens of defamation suits over the years. He settles some, he loses most. But the point isn't the outcome. The point is the threat. When Trump sued ABC and CBS, those were news organizations with deep pockets and legal resources. They chose to settle rather than endure years of litigation, even though both had strong First Amendment defenses. Now Trump's applying the same playbook to a comedian. But here's what's different. Noah made a joke, not a factual assertion. And under First Amendment law established by the Supreme Court in Hustler magazine v. Falwell in 1988, satire and parody about public figures enjoy the broadest possible protection. Let me walk you through the legal standard. To win a defamation suit, Trump would need to prove 4 elements. First, that Noah made a false statement. Second, that the statement was about Trump. Third, that it was published to third parties. Fourth, that it caused damage to Trump's reputation. But Trump is not a private citizen. He's a public official, which triggers a much higher standard under New York Times v. Sullivan from 1964. Trump must prove actual malice. That's a specific legal term. It means Noah either knew the statement was false or acted with reckless disregard for whether it was true or false. And here's the problem for Trump. You can't prove actual malice for a statement that's obviously a joke in Hustler v. Falwell. The Supreme Court addressed this exact issue. Hustler magazine published a parody suggesting Jerry Falwell had an incestuous encounter with his mother. The court ruled unanimously that parody, no matter how outrageous or offensive, cannot be defamation if no reasonable person would believe it's asserting actual facts. Now, apply that to Noah's joke. Did any reasonable person watching the Grammys? Were viewers watching a news report or a comedian at an award show? Were they watching a verified fact or an entertainer making a satirical comment? But there's another problem for Trump, and this one's strategic. If Trump actually files this lawsuit, he opens the door to discovery. Let me explain what that means in practical terms. Discovery is the pretrial process where both sides get to demand documents, take depositions, and gather evidence. If Trump sues Noah for defamation over the Epstein joke, Noah's lawyers can subpoena every communication Trump ever had with Jeffrey Epstein. Every email, every text, every phone record, every flight log. They can depose Trump under oath about his relationship with Epstein. They can subpoena Mar-a-Lago employees. They can examine every document the DOJ just released and ask Trump specific questions about each one. A prosecutor would never risk this, but Trump isn't acting like a prosecutor. He's acting like a politician using lawsuits as weapons. After the Epstein files drop, pressure builds. Then Trevor Noah makes a satirical joke. Trump threatens a lawsuit, not to win, but to change the narrative and play the victim. Legally, the threat is weak. Noah didn't accuse Trump of visiting Epstein's island. It was satire, fully protected speech. Worse for Trump, a lawsuit opens discovery. Photos, flight logs, and witnesses already linked Trump to Epstein's properties. Not illegal, but fatal to a defamation case. So why threaten it? Because the threat alone scares critics. The process becomes the punishment. But this move may backfire. Noah has nothing to lose. And court scrutiny would only spotlight the Epstein connection. This isn't about law. It's about silencing speech, and that's dangerous for democracy.